Hello, Naturals. Welcome to GoNaturalEnglish.com, live on YouTube for our daily English tips. I'm your English teacher. So happy to be here with you at Go Natural English. So let's talk about how you are used to learning English, because there's a big mistake that a lot of English learners make, and a lot of English teachers make this mistake too. So think about when you were in the English classroom, maybe in high school, maybe in a private language classroom. How did you learn? You probably listened to your teacher talking about English. Maybe you read in your English textbook about English, and you focused on learning English, on doing well in your class, answering questions correctly on your quiz so that you could get a good grade. This is very typical. This is very normal. It's not wrong, but it is a big mistake in English learning. If you want to be fluent in English conversation, that is not the way. Let me explain. The biggest mistake that you could make in English learning is thinking of English as a subject that you're going to master. So if you master English as a language, that means that, well, in the traditional sense, that means that you got an A in your class, you got 100%, a good grade. Now, in the real world, your grade and your test score doesn't matter as much as your ability to have a fluent conversation, to connect and to communicate with people, to network, to make business contacts, to make new friends. That's the most important thing. So the biggest mistake that you could make in your English learning is focusing on mastering English just to know English. This is what linguists do. So if you want to be a linguist, then focus on mastering English, phonetics, grammar, structure. Make as many sentence diagrams as your heart desires. Personally, I love sentence diagrams. I think they're fun, but they don't really help with English fluency. Not as much as other things, okay? So stop focusing on English as something in itself that you're going to master. Because when we don't look at the big picture of using English and applying English, what do we do with English once we've mastered it? Then we're in trouble. So instead of making the mistake of focusing on English for English, just to get a good grade, just to know English, just to say, yeah, I'm fluent in English, let's focus on applying English in real life. Let's focus on using it from your first day, from day one of learning English. Let's focus on using English as a tool to do other things in life, as a tool to communicate, as a tool to learn about subjects that you're interested in, as a tool to help other people. So we must focus on how we can use English as a tool. Think about if you're building a house, you're not going to think of your tools as the thing you need to master. You're going to think about how you need to use your tools to make the house. Another example would be if you just read music. Let's say you can read notes on a page. You can read music, but you never hear the song. That's the mistake that a lot of English learners and English teachers are making. We're talking about English. We're reading English rules, but we're not hearing the whole song. We're not listening. We're not really listening to fluent communication, fluent conversations, native speakers, and communication. We're reading recipes. This is another example. It's like reading a recipe, but never making the food, never eating the food. So the real joy in cooking is not reading the recipe, it's actually making the food and enjoying it with your friends and family, right? If you agree, then tell me yes or no if you don't agree. It's also like playing a sport. Imagine that you want to go to the Olympics, maybe as a tennis player, let's say. You love tennis. Well, would you read about tennis or would you practice tennis? Would you actually get out there on the court and practice playing? I think you know the answer. Reading about tennis is not going to get you to the Olympics. It's not going to help you to master tennis or English. Reading about English is good, it's fine, there's no problem with that, but it's not going to help you to actually be fluent in English fast. So what have we learned today? The biggest mistake that many English learners make and English teachers is to focus on English as something self-contained that you read about, that you learn about. We're so focused on English as a subject itself that we forget to allow time and space to apply it, to use it, to practice conversations, to use it to help other people. Even if you're learning English, you can use English to help other people. Just this morning, I was on the beach. I'm here in Brazil right now, and I was running on the beach, and a woman stopped me, and in Portuguese, she asked me for help with something that she needed to fix her swimsuit. So asking for help and helping other people, I used my Portuguese to help her. I said, yes, of course, I'll help you. So helping people, that's applying the language. So you don't have to use English only to write essays, only to take tests, only to do what your teacher wants you to do or what you learned in school. Use English to help other people. Use English to connect with people, to ask questions, to learn things about the world, to learn and be curious and follow your passions and your curiosity and use English as a tool to do these things. English is not your whole house. English is a tool to build your house. I hope that the examples and analogies are clear. I think they were. I talked about reading a recipe versus eating the food, reading music versus listening to the song, reading about playing tennis versus training for the Olympics. So this is just like in English. Stop just reading about English and go out there and apply it, use it. So thank you so much for being part of the Go Natural English audience. I want to ask you for your help now. It's so important that we build our audience here, our community, build our community here on YouTube and at GoNaturalEnglish.com. So if you know a friend who is learning English, or if you enjoy these YouTube live lessons, then please share it. Even if you don't know anyone who is learning English, please share a link to our GoNaturalEnglish.com website or Go Natural English YouTube live lesson right here every day on youtube.com/GoNaturalEnglish. I want to thank everyone who's watching live. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you here tomorrow for another awesome English tip. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.